Here's a quick setup video on how to put together our medium-sized venue package. First of all, it consists of the M810 powered head, two YX12 M monitors, stage monitors for the musicians on stage, and then the two YX15 mains. These will go out to the audience. Two speaker stands for these guys. They both have holes in the bottom that affix to the top of the speaker stands, tripod style. They raise up like so, fairly straightforward. These wedges here just sit on the ground, point up at the musicians like that. First things first, I always kind of go through our inventory. We just have any number of SM58s, just vocal microphones. Speaker cables, one for each speaker. And then we've got a power cable to actually power the head. A laptop interface is usually part of this package as well. This is actually what will allow you to connect to an iPod, iPhone, laptop, etc. And then we have XLR cables to go with both the microphone and the laptop interface. XLR is just a little 3-pin connection. I don't know if you can see that, but that. The first thing I would actually start with in any given scenario is the back panel and just getting all of our speakers hooked up. We have a kind of cable here called it's a speaker cable called a speak-on. It's basically a cable with a little clip. It just pushes in here. You have little notches. You match up the notches, push in and twist. The important thing to remember on this amp, we have two amps in here actually. Amp A is for the mains, what the audience hears. Amp B is for the monitors, what the musicians hear. We'll talk more about that in a second. First thing we just need to go, we have one of these speak-on jacks. Go from the powered head to the back panel of the speakers, the mains, these YX15s. Now you can see there's two jacks on here. The way these are wired, it actually doesn't matter which one you plug into. As soon as you plug into one, the other one becomes an output. That's important because we only have one of these jacks on the powered head. So what we need to do to get signal to our other speaker is take another cable, run it from this second jack, plugged it in just like the first one, into our other speaker. This is something you hear referred to a lot of times as daisy chaining or wire, they're running in parallel, but the important thing, whatever you call it, is to remember that signal goes from this amp to this speaker, from this speaker to this speaker, and then we have sound everywhere. Also what we'll do the same thing for the monitors. There's probably no need to hook it up, but you can see we have another speak-on jack from B, this is for our monitors, B to the first jack, whichever one, and then from whichever one's not plugged in to the other speaker. So again, the same pattern, we're just using different speakers. Moving on to the actual front controls of the head. Oh, and then the other thing, this is important, we want to actually get power. You see an AC cable is included with the package. It just goes from this jack on the side, power button here, plug this into an outlet and then turn it on, obviously. On the front panel, there's an important little button, if I can get to it. It says amp assign. It's really important in this setting that we have this button pushed in. You can see it's out right now. You push it in, it says amp assign. That actually makes it to where amp A is for the mains, amp B is for the monitors. You can see very small print, it says main monitor. So on the section itself, this is our master section that controls all the volumes. This is the maximum that the amp can put out. You just go and run these all the way high, all the way up. And then we can bring up each individual channel till it's the appropriate volume to ensure that we have plenty of headroom. I always start with everything zeroed out, our levels. In this setup, amp A is going to be controlled by all of the white knobs. So the master section, white, A, it's going to be for our mains. Green is B for our monitors. And that goes for each channel. The appropriate thing to do then, while you're setting up, let's start with a mic, for example, and an XLR cable. Plug it into channel 1. First thing you want to do is have the musician or yourself, whoever, check the mic. So check, 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 all that kind of stuff. Bring up, there's a knob down here that says trim. It's a little gray knob. Bring that up until you start to see this green indicator light come up. That shows you've got enough signal. check, 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 and back off of it if this little red clip light shows up. Once you've done that, the green knob will bring up the volume in the monitors that we have hooked up. Check, check, check. Okay, that's enough in my monitor. Then you can bring it up in the mains, what the audience hears. Check, 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 etc. And then you do that for each channel down the line. Occasionally you'll have keyboards go into our the line in section or the instrument level inputs. Additional setup that we can cover at the time of rental if you have that. The other thing, you're going to do this just like a microphone. It's our little laptop interface I mentioned earlier. Plug this into your iPod, iPhone, or laptop. The microphone cable, just like a mic then, into one of these channels. Follow the same steps as we did before. Typically you won't run that into the musicians' monitors. They don't need, music in between, but you just send that to the mains. There's also a volume knob on here as well, so it's important to check in case you're not getting any signal to make sure it's not turned down. But that's how you get your iPod into the system. There's some other additional features on here, effects, things like that, all governed in the master section. And that's still the same way you set up your other ones. Is put the effects up on here, select the effect you want on this dial, and bring it up on each channel till it's the appropriate level of effect. So that's just kind of a basic run through. Most folks don't really bother with the effects, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But that's how you get sound into and out of the M810 system.